Hey guys, what's up? It's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel. So I know you're probably going, Nicole, 2 videos in one day. What is going on with you? Well, I just got totally inspired and I wanted to come over here and put it down and talk to you guys real fast. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up, please. It helps me out a whole bunch. And click the notification bell. Okay, and welcome to my new subscribers. Anyway, so I don't know if you guys know what a spiritual experience is, or if you've ever heard anyone say a spiritual experience, but in the 12 steps in AA, they talk about having a spiritual experience, and what they say is, having had a spiritual experience as a result of these steps, we carry the message to other alcoholics and addicts and practice these principles in all of our affairs. So, having had a spiritual experience as a result of working the 12 steps, that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. So, when I first started sharing my experience, strength, and hope with other recovery addicts and alcoholics, and also people that were in active addiction, I would share with them my story, and I would share that I'm on Suboxone. And 9 times out of 10, when I would share that I'm on Suboxone, that would bring up some discussion about whether or not I was able to have a spiritual experience as a result of the 12 steps. And I don't know why people want to argue about those kind of things, but it always happens, especially with people who are new in their recovery. Now, older people who have been sober for some years, they never question me. They never question the fact that I'm in recovery and that I am a different person and that, you know, I want to be sober and that I'm living my life on life's terms now, and I'm like 100% changed, you know. I think it's because people who are more seasoned and have been sober for longer realize that recovery is not black and white, and it's so different for each and every person. And what works for one person, you know, is not going to work for the other person. So if me being on Suboxone has worked for me and I'm successful in achieving my recovery, then that's what works for me, you know. But I wanted to talk to you guys about what it was like for me having a spiritual experience and what I think. Well, I know what a spiritual experience is. Okay, so a spiritual experience is a total change in personality and perspective. And that's what's happened for me. The only way I know how to explain it to you guys is before I got sober, I was a criminal, I was a liar, I was a thief, I wanted to fight everyone, I was mean, I was hateful, I was insecure, I had no purpose, I was just a thug. I was a thug. I thought I was like this gangster bitch and I would fuck you up, and I relied on substances and hurting and harming others as a way to make myself feel better. And, you know, I would tell you how I was such a great person and such a good friend, but the only thing I wanted was what you had because it benefited me. And now from that, night and day, like night and day. And the only way I can explain it to you is when I was in my addiction and I would try to get sober before, I had never had a spiritual experience. I had never had a change in my personality and perception because I was never willing to take any kind of suggestions from anybody. I was never willing to try to do anything outside of myself for someone else. I wasn't willing to be selfless. I was so selfish and self-seeking. And now in my recovery, the main basis of my recovery is giving back and helping others and trying to relate with other people when they're at their lowest point. And I love talking with other people who are just like me and who are struggling and who have been hopeless and need help, because I love to be a light for them to shine and show them that if they were hopeless like me, they don't have to be, because they can change just like I have. And I never thought I would change. And for so many years, I would try, but I wouldn't try all the way. And see, that's the thing. Trying is not doing. And so what happened now for me is this spiritual experience. It was like a total shift in everything. And I went from trying to taking action. I went from talking the talk to living and walking the walk. I went from doing a half-assed assignment that my sponsor told me to do to really starting to look inside of myself. And it was all brought on by this conscious contact with God and my connection with my higher power. Is, I don't even know how to explain it to you, but God is like my homie. Like, I talk to him like I talk to a friend. And I know that as long as I do what he wants me to do and what I'm guided to do by him, that I'm going to be okay.
Mommy, I forgot these socks.
Uh-huh. That experience for me, that shift in personality and perception for me, is what I explained to you guys. That was the spiritual experience for me. That's when I knew that, like, there's something different about me. This isn't like all the other times I've tried to get sober. You know, all the other times I tried to get sober, I just did that. I just tried, and then I didn't take any action. Like, this has actually been a time for me that I've taken action and done something different, you know? So Avalon was making a video and I was watching her, and I don't know why, but I just got so inspired to talk about that spiritual experience. So now what I want to do is I want to read to you guys what it says a spiritual experience is out of the book. And then I'll just leave you guys with that. Okay. Here we go. The term spiritual experience and spiritual awakening are used many times in this book, which upon careful reading shows that the personality change sufficient to bring about recovery from alcoholism has manifested itself among us in many different forms. Yes, it is true that our first printing gave many readers the impression that these personality changes or religious experiences must be in the nature of sudden and spectacular upheavals. Happily for everyone, this conclusion is erroneous. In the first few chapters, a number of sudden revelationary changes are described. Though it was not our intention to create such an impression, many alcoholics have nevertheless concluded that in order to recover, they must acquire an immediate and overwhelming God consciousness, followed at once by a vast change in feeling and outlook. Among our rapidly growing membership of thousands of alcoholics, such transformations, though frequent, are by no means the rule. So that it doesn't have to happen to you overnight. You can slowly but surely have a spiritual experience like I did through working the steps with my sponsor, through taking suggestions, by reading the big book, by talking to God, by praying and really surrendering. That's what I did, you guys. I've surrendered myself. I've thrown up my hands and admitted that I don't know anything and I need help. I need help to stay sober. So, most of our experiences are what the psychologist William James calls the educational variety, because they develop slowly over a period of time. Quite often, friends of the newcomer are aware of the difference long before he is himself. He finally realizes that he has undergone a profound alteration in his reaction to life. that such a change could hardly have been brought by himself alone. So that's exactly why I got inspired by Avalon, because I no longer react to life the way I did before. And that's how I know I'm changing. Because when things happen to me, like the trolls and the people that have been attacking me lately, when I was in my addiction, I would have reacted, I would have retaliated, I would have created all kind of chaos. I would have been trying to fight some people and dox them and hurt them and harm them. And I would, like Avalon said in her video, I would pride myself on being like a thug and thinking that I was tough. And that's not how I want to be anymore. Like, I don't want to be known as some tough bitch. You know, I want to be known as someone who's kind, loving, forgiving, thoughtful, trustworthy, honest, open-minded. Those are the things I want to be known as, you know, and for me, that is a huge miracle. And that's how I know that the program has been working in my life, because it has literally changed what I was before. I was just a big ball of chaos before, a big ball of anger and fear. And now I'm not. He finally realizes that he has undergone a profound altercation in his reaction to life, that such a change could hardly have been brought by himself. What often takes place in a few months could seldom have been accomplished by years of self-discipline. With few expectations, our members find that they have tapped an unexpected inner resource, which they presently identify with their own conception of a higher power greater than themselves. Most of us think that this awareness of a power greater than ourselves is the essence of a spiritual experience. Our more religious members call it God consciousness. Most emphatically, we wish to say that any alcoholic capable of honestly facing his problems in the light of our experience can recover, provided he does not close his mind to all spiritual concepts. He can only be defeated by an attitude of intolerance or belligerent denial. We find that no one need have difficulty with the spirituality of the program. Willingness, honesty, and open-mindedness are the essentials of recovery. So, I just wanted to share that with you guys, and I hope y'all have a great day. And that was my take and my experience on what it was like for me when I started having this whole change in my life. And just like what happened for me, it can happen for you too. And like I said, I don't want to be known as someone who was a junkie and hurt and harmed others and did things, you know, to scare people and instill fear in others. I want to be known as someone who's kind, compassionate, caring, helpful, thoughtful, dependable, you know. So, I'll talk to you guys later.